Hello and welcome to GovCIO Media and Research's Identity Week coverage. I'm here today with Arun Vimuri, and we're going to talk a little bit about biometrics and digital identities. I am here at Identity Week, and thank you so much, Arun, for speaking with me.
And thank you so much, Sylvia.
So why don't we go ahead and get started and just kind of talk about, who you are and what you do.
Sure. So my name is Arun Vimuri. I'm a senior advisor for biometric and identity technologies at the Department of Homeland Security Science and Technology Directorate. My role is to help kind of identify and create a portfolio of research to help oversee it, manage it regarding biometric and identity technologies. As you can think about the Department of Homeland Security, it is a very large agency, and a lot of what we have to do is verify who people are, whether it's logging into computer systems and networks, taking a flight and flying on a commercial plane, or crossing the border. A lot of what it comes down to is verifying who people are so that you make sure that you let the right people through the process, or you make sure people go through the right screening process, whatever that process may be.
Of course. And I really enjoyed hearing what you had to say in the biometric little area that we were at today. And so could you kind of talk about the progress that has been made in optimizing biometrics and what that might look like in the future?
Yeah, good questions, because basically we were talking a lot about facial recognition technology in particular, and the massive improvements we've seen in that specific area for over the last 10 years. If you go back much farther than that, 12, 14, 15 years ago, I don't think people had a lot of expectations that facial recognition technology would be on par with things like fingerprints or iris recognition. There's been a huge boom in performance of the technologies, largely driven by, I think, machine learning. So we've seen these vast improvements in the technology. The error rates have dropped substantially. And not only that, we continue to see significant performance drops year over year. I think, if you look back just over the last 10 years or so, one of my co-panelists mentioned that error rates dropped tenfold, right? There's a significant reduction in error rates. And every time we do more evaluations, we see that there continue to be performance gains. So it's been really powerful to see how machine learning has really empowered and kind of fueled the area of facial recognition technologies.
Yeah. And, we're hearing a lot about AI, machine learning, and I'm recently getting into quantum and those technologies. You've obviously seen AI kind of playing a part in that, but what about other emerging technologies and their role in biometrics?
Yeah, I think for biometrics in particular, well, I'll be honest with you, I think quantum will change a lot of things. I think it might still be a little bit further out. But we're all kind of keeping a keen eye out for how that's going to influence things. I think in the area of biometrics and things like facial recognition in particular, the panel we were just on talked a lot about travel, right? But I think we're going to see facial recognition and these technologies being used in a lot of other domains. Like right now, if you were to apply for, you want to validate your social media account, one of the things they ask you to do is take a photo of your ID, take a selfie to help prove who you are. Right. If you are travel, I just mentioned travel, but if you have other types of applications, a lot of times people are asking for people to take selfies to prove who they are through their smartphone. I think a couple of things are going to happen. We see the emergence of things like mobile driver's licenses, digital travel credentials, verifiable credentials. These are emerging technology areas. Well, I shouldn't really call it emerging. I think somebody just announced that Apple Wallet, the MDL in the Apple Wallet is now accepted in 11 states by the Transportation Security Administrations. So we're seeing full-on adoption of many of these technologies. So I guess my point here is digital credentials, digital identity credentials, whatever the term of art you want to use, are really starting to grow. Not only does it benefit people for in-person transactions to help prove out who they are, to prove that they're of age to buy, age-restricted items, it also provides an additional level of security. If you think about the plastic cards, they can be challenging, right? A lot of the security features are secret or not easily seen by the human eye. Or honestly, if you take a photo of it with your smartphone, may not be visible in the smartphone photo. With things like a credential, like a mobile driver's license, those are cryptographically signed credentials that can be verified back that they were really issued by the state of Maryland, state of Virginia, DC, that it's an authentic document. And then you can make your appropriate decisions. With the plastic credential, honestly, the fake IDs are so good today, right? We kind of just take for granted that most people under the age of 21 have one, or know friends who do, and probably use it way more often than we like to think they do. The idea that somehow those really are completely infallible documents really doesn't hold. And I think we do need to be thinking about what the future starts to look like here.
Of course. And, you mentioned thinking about the public and perhaps people under the age of 21 are using them, but how do we kind of get the public to be confident in this technology and to trust what is happening with, mobile IDs or any other biometric technology?
Yeah, that's yeah, I think you're on the right path here, right? I think a lot of what we think about here is it's good to develop these technologies, but I think it's also really, really important that we test them. A lot of the technical development, a lot of the technical innovation is coming out of large universities, national labs, private companies. But to make sure that the technologies work well, to understand what happens when the systems fail, how to mitigate some of those risks, we really do need to have robust test and evaluation capabilities to understand where do they work, where don't they work, where are there opportunities to make improvements. This is where a lot of my work, specifically at DHS S&T, really is focused, is to take a look at these commercially evolving technologies and really put them through the ringer, so we understand where they work and where they don't. And then we can figure out where do they make sense to include into operations, or where might they require some additional work, either on the technology or the standards or other types of frameworks, so that they are better positioned to solve some of the different problems that the department's working on.
Of course. And we're coming down here to my last two questions. I wanted to talk a little bit about the remote identity validation tech demos. There were 3 tracks, and I know we talked before we started recording just a little bit about the 2 tracks that are public. So do you mind expanding on the summary of track 2 and what we might be seeing with track 3?
No, sure. So yeah, just to kind of provide some context, late in 2023, DHS S&T announced an industry challenge of sorts. We called it the Remote Identity Validation Technology Demonstration. It is a mouthful. Sorry about that. We call it Riveted for shorts. So basically, it was broken down into recognizing that a lot of these remote identity validation processes, whether again it's opening up a bank account, getting a crypto wallet, a social media profile, applying for government benefits, a lot of times the technology is kind of ask you to follow some similar steps, which is take a photo of the front and back of your identity document and take a selfie. And notionally, the products are doing a few things behind the scene. They're determining whether the plastic credential or the physical credential is genuine or fraudulent. They're looking at the face photo of the selfie and trying to match it back to the face photo on the identity document to make sure it's the same person. And sometimes they would also be looking at the selfie to figure out, like, is this actually a Sylvia, or is it somebody else? Is it somebody showing a photo of Sylvia, or they've downloaded Sylvia's social media profile photo? So one of the things we wanted to do was, as there was a lot of discussion, or honestly, there was a huge amount of adoption post-COVID, because the in-person identity proofing processes basically came to an end. We needed the ability to do this remotely. So these technologies were incredibly powerful and incredibly useful. But at the end of the day, we also needed data, like how well does it work? So with our riveted evaluation, we broke down the problem to those 3 steps, at least initially. And we wanted to figure out how well do these technologies work. Track 1 was focused on the physical credential. How well can the software tell a real document from a fraudulent document? Track 2 was focused on the selfie to document matching. How well can I match a person's selfie to the photo on their identity document? And if you think about it, the identity documents, the photos can be, black and white. They might have holograms or other security features printed over the surface of the face. So it might obscure the face. And then track 3 is focused on this thing we call presentation attack detection. Can I tell that it's really Sylvia, or is it a photo of Sylvia, or someone wearing a Sylvia mask, which sounds really scary and creepy. And honestly, when you see some of these things, they kind of are a little creepy. But the point is, with 3D printing, with 3D scanners, like, these things are now possible. And it's not beyond the realm of the possible for criminal organizations to start applying these attacks. So where we are right now is we have released riveted track 2 results. So that information is publicly available. We received about 16 applications from different companies to have us evaluate their technologies. At the end of the day, we found that about 10 of them, I think, were suitable for full evaluation. And those results are actually available on the Test Lab website. So this is mdtf.org. That stands for Maryland Test Facility. But the website is mdtf.org. And you can see more information about that step. One of the reasons why we make the results public is so that we can help the industry partners understand how well they're performing. We want people who are also other consumers of the technology, like DHS, to be able to see how well these technologies work. We realize a lot of organizations, including state and local governments, may not have the resources for testing. But by doing this, we can be more transparent and help people understand what the state of the art of the technology is.
This has been so insightful, so wonderful. I love really talking about the emerging technologies. And, like you mentioned, these technologies are already here. They're not really emerging. They're just getting better and better each day. So thank you so much for all of the work that you do. And thank you for speaking with me today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
GovCast, along with HealthCast and Cybercast, is a production of GovCIO Media and Research. To explore our content, visit our website, govciomedia.com. Keep an eye out for new episodes every Tuesday. And if you like what you heard, leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choice. Have a topic you want us to discuss? Contact us at newsletter@govcio.com.